Don't be shy, 'cause life won't bring you down too far.
Sport on Saturday night, two of the biggest names in British boxing and Irish boxing, Carl Frampton and Michael Conlan, heading the way, top of the bill. That's a terrific card as well as that. Archie Sharp against Jeff Afori, Troy Williamson, who's going to be fighting Harry Scarf from Derby, which is another excellent looking fight, and the exciting young talent Dennis McCann, who's already making headlines and drawing fantastic comparisons with Nazim Hamed, who Frank knows only too well from a quarter of a century or so ago. But this is our next behind closed doors promotion, which is happening on BT Sport, and another one to look forward to, Frank.
Yeah, we've already done 3, and that was us dipping our toe in the water at the time. We were first out of getting the shows on and done what we had to do, ensuring that the safety aspect of it all worked properly, and getting some of our young guys out, and now we're stepping it up a gear. So, as you mentioned, Carl, two-time world champion. He was due to fight this summer against Jamal Herring, and obviously because of the virus that didn't occur. In the meantime, he's got to keep busy, so he's got this fight on Saturday. He's fighting Darren Traynor, who's replacing the original opponent. Darren has been training very hard, and obviously fancies his chances, and it's something that Carl's got to come through. He's got to look good doing it and not make any mistakes to make sure that he gets to Herring in the autumn.
And Michael Conlan as well, the world title picture there, he's very much a part of it.
He certainly is. He's not far off fighting for a world title. I'm not sure he's going to do his weight, but he's 13-0. And if you look, he's fighting Sofiane Takouch, I think they say this Takouch, who's had 40 fights and won 35 of them. He's lost against Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington is he's a great fighter, a great world champion. And this guy's experience, I think, will give Michael a lot of things to think about. But, if he's half the fighter we think he's going to look good.
Well, we'll look ahead to those in a little bit more detail in a moment or two. But in the meantime, let's concentrate on the two lads who are up here. And just a few words about Dennis, first of all, Frank, who we sort of wax lyrical about. Are we in danger of overplaying him, or is he really as good as people are saying?
He's a great young talent, but that's what he is at the moment. He's a talent, and he knows he's got to work hard, and he's got to have dedication. Talent gets you so far, and it's the dedication and hard work that gets you on the rest of your journey. But the fact is, you've only got to look at him. All over the period we've had with this COVID, he's been training very hard. Alan, I know, has had him do some strict training regimes, which he's had to do some of them in private. But he's got a bit between his teeth. He would have fought earlier, but he had the flu. I hope it's the flu. And now he's back in there, and he's for me he's one of the best young talents I've seen for many years. And provided he keeps doing what he's doing and staying focused, and he's got married in the meantime as well. He's a married man now, so he's got a wife, and so he's got obligations. Provided he keeps doing what he should be doing, I think he's got the potential to be one of the outstanding young British fighters in his generation.
Before we talk about your boxing, let me just ask you about that. How did all this come about? Married lines.
Big boy now, but we met about a year and a half ago, a couple of years ago, and it happened, and I fell in love with life.
How nerve-wracking was it going to meet the parents?
That was the worst part, I'm not gonna lie. That was the worst. It was pretty scary. But there was a bit coming in as well, so I don't know what it was.
Were they instantly saying, yeah, this is a good idea?
If you look at me, I'd say it's a good idea, would you?
So you're going to be going into this then as a married man for the first time?
Yeah.
New responsibilities? Are you going to be settling down, buying houses?
Trying to, aren't I?
Well, that's in the pipeline, is it?
That's the plan, definitely. Should be buying a house in the next couple of weeks, actually, in fact.
Brilliant.
So we'll do that first of many.
Yeah, well, putting your success behind you and investing it, I'm sure Frank and Alan and a lot of people are telling you that's the way to go.
It's the way forward, isn't it? A lot of young kids my age, they go and give £500 and £600, £1,000 for shoes and silly things. And I'm investing it in houses and properties and stuff.
A house is always better than a stupid watch.
Put it that way, definitely, yeah, definitely.
What's time?
I ain't got much.
Dennis, now I had a little somebody had a word in my ear saying you had an unexpected contact, an unexpected phone call from Nazim Hamed.
Yeah, that was good, definitely. I know his son very well, very nice kid. And actually went for a jog with him the other day down in Sheffield, with Sparn down there. And he was a very nice bloke, very nice fellow.
What did Naz have to say to you?
I was joking, I said to him, I said, I got a better screenshot than you, I said.
Did he take that?
He was laughing, yeah, he was laughing.
Has he watched you live yet, Naz?
Not live, but he watched me on TV now.
And how impressed is he by what he's seen? Because I mean, everybody's saying there's a lot of similarities between how you fight and how he used to fight.
Yeah, he reckons top class, he said. Just keep doing what you're doing, he said. And then you'll definitely get it, he said. I reckon a world champion, he said.
Frank, you guided Naz, and now with Dennis as well. How real are the similarities for you?
I think they are. I mean, obviously, Naz was a tremendous talent and went on to be a great world champion. My only disappointment with Naz was the fact that he took his eye off the ball, he blew up his weight and so forth. And I think he could have been an outstanding world champion. And he just didn't fulfil for me what he should have done. And Dennis has got to learn from that. But I think Dennis is very smart for a young man. He's got those, he looks like a young boy and young looks and all that, but he's got a smart head on his shoulder.
Good looking. You want to say it, don't you?
I've got to come at the opticians or something. And the bottom line is, he's not stupid, and he's got, with the team that he's got around him, including Alan and his manager, they're smart people, and I honestly do think he can be one of our outstanding young fighters. Provided he keeps working hard.
I was around sort of 25 years ago when Naz was coming through, and I remember from those days that half your problem was sort of keeping his feet on the ground, but there's a big problem as well of getting him matched. It's not easy, is it?
Well, we got him matched, and we done well.
You did.
He won a lot of world titles with us.
But when you're finding your feet, though, it's finding people who are prepared to get
I remember when Naz started off, it was really simple. And I can remember his first fight for us was up in Sheffield, and he was in the Ponds Forge, and he was in the studio there, in the dressing room, getting changed. And there was no one in the dressing room. And I mean no one. His trainers, Brendan, was down in the ring with another guy. And within a year, his dressing room, you could put a turnstile on the door for people coming through. And that's what happens in boxing. You get all these hangers on, all these backpack, patting your back and telling you what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. All you've got to do is remain focused and deal with what you've got and not have your head turned. And I think that Dennis, from his background and from how smart he is and how same people he's got around him, I know he's going to be focused all the way.
How long do you think it's going to be before Dennis is getting up to the level where he's going to be looking for English title, British title, Commonwealth title or whatever?
These next 3 or 4 fights, definitely.
As soon as that. So he could potentially be, is it Ryan Rhodes, the youngest ever British champion, I think? So there's a
maybe.
So there's a chance of a little bit of history there.
Yeah,
we will see. Anyway, moving on now to the fight between Troy Williamson and Harry Scarf, which is going to be a cracking fight on paper.
It is, on paper it's a cracking fight. And Troy last time out, that pole axe in the ring, it was an amazing knockout punch, and he's shown it. And now, his game is in the limelight, he's going to get great exposure. And this is a tough fight for him. But we believe in him, we believe he's got what it takes to come through, and we believe that he's got a great chance of going all the way. But he is exciting, there's no doubt about that.
Last 6 by stoppage now, isn't it?
Yeah, 5 or 6. Last being 7, I'm not sure.
Is it just something that comes naturally, the power punches?
I don't bother looking for the power punch. It's just, if it comes, it comes.
Now, what are your thoughts about Harry Scarf? He's 6'1", and he has the ring nickname Horrible Harry, which kind of tells the story. He's awkward, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very awkward. To be fair, you can be as awkward as you like, but I've got 10 rounds to pin him down, and I think I will pin him down in the later rounds.
You think so? You think that your stoppage run could potentially continue?
Yeah, definitely. I think with them 10-ounce gloves on, I just need to land, and once I do land, I'm a big, strong 11-stone man, so, and I punch very hard at the weight, so I think if
once it lands, he'll fall awkwardly.
His last fight was against Anthony Fowler, I think, and Clifton Mitchell, who's involved in his training, reckoned that he froze on that occasion, and so he's a guy with a point to prove.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It did look like he froze on the occasion, but again, I think he just looked horrible on that night. I think he was dead negative. And he was awkward. I think he made it awkward for Fowler switching. Taking nothing away from Fowler, great kid, but his feet were too slow on the night, and he couldn't cut the ring down. But I've got faster feet than Fowler, and I genuinely believe that I will cut the ring down on him, and over 10 rounds, I could get him up there late.
Well, there's another great fight to be made.
Absolutely.
Get rid of it and then go for the Fowler fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another one to be
which
made.
is
Great fight for the fans.
Which is kind of what you've been advocating this
Yeah.
week. Let's
Yeah, and
get
I-
heads
I-
together and make them happen.
And I believe in Troy, and let's try and do it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, my outcome is I want to be the man at 11 stone, so I'll fight anybody at 154 pounds domestically, and I'm very confident I'll beat any of them.
They think that if they can get you onto the back foot, that you're not as effective and that you're open to right hands. What's your thoughts of that?
Let him do it. See if he can get me on the back foot.
It's Sandra said it, not me, before you get me the dead eye.
Yeah, well, we'll see on the 9th.
Well, it's on paper, as I say, Frank, a terrific fight and such a lot at stake, which is what you want to see for these fights which we're bringing. Because okay, it's behind closed doors and there aren't crowds there for obvious reasons, but it's a real quality matchup.
It is, there's no doubt about it. They're quality fighters, and Troy, was it 16th fight going into it, so he's got everything going for him, and his future is literally in his own hands, and he's capable, very capable.
Hamza Shiraz, he'd be in the mix-up as well, presumably at that weight.
It's an exciting division. We're blessed with talent. Everybody, there's a lot of fighters in this country, and where we are at the moment is with this terrible epidemic that we've got. That we do have a chance to try and make some of these fights happen. And I've got to tell you, for the losers, it's not the end of the world. Some guys win, some guys lose. I've seen fighters lose fights and then come back even better. I look at Liam Williams. Look at him now. He looks a totally different fighter. And so it's not the end of the world if you get me.
How difficult has it been preparing in the circumstances of the last few weeks and months?
Just more frustrating more than anything else. I've been in the gym, stayed focused, mate, been on the game. I train really hard, so no matter who I face, I'll be giving it 110%, and I'm very confident I've put in the work that I'll beat anybody on the night.
You've been able to keep the focus going okay, Dennis?
Definitely. I've definitely got the edge in that, I reckon. I've been training all the way through, got a gym at home. I reckon the hardest working English fighter, or any fighter in England right now.
I'll bet we
in the world. I'll bet you any money. The hardest worker there is already.
Well, we look forward to that one. Thanks a lot, lads. And anybody who wants to have one-on-one interview who hasn't done so, then the guys will be around after we've concluded our pleasantries and available to do any interviews that you might want. So thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday night. Thank you.
Thanks, fellas.
Carl's opponent, who you probably didn't know until this moment, who's going to be taking the chance to go in against one of the greats of British boxing of recent years. Darren Traynor has stepped up to the plate, lad from Aberdeen, in his 20th professional fight, and it's been an interesting journey getting down here. Darren, first of all, tell us about your day.
It's been very tiring, apart from getting the flight from Edinburgh, apart from I had to drive from Aberdeen to Edinburgh and fly here. But like I said, thank the MTK for the opportunity. Right.
So what time were you up and moving this
Oh, I
morning?
got back at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And your thoughts about getting into the ring against, as I said, one of the biggest names in British boxing?
Like I said, it's a big opportunity. It's a big fight for me. I know it's going to be a hard fight, but like I say, it's a big fight for me. It's a big opportunity to get me back around and get me back on the big stage again.
Did you ever think you'd be getting in the ring with Carl Frampton?
No, never ever thought that. But it's come now, so I'm here to give it a go.
And everybody who gets through the ropes, Carl, always has respect. I'm sure has your respect for picking up the cudgel and coming and being prepared to face up to you on Saturday night.
I respect, like you said, anyone that steps in the ropes, but I respect anyone that would step up to fight me. Even more so, I think that Darren, I think he's better than the original opponent that we had in Vardanyan. He's fought certainly at a higher level anyway, and this is at a higher weight division. So first fight at super featherweight is now my first fight at lightweight. And he's been training as well. So Darren's been training. I know MTK have asked him, and on the off chance that there was going to be problems with Vardanyan's visa or coronavirus or whatever, I think he's been training for a number of weeks now. So it's not going to be an easy fight. I know that he's coming here with nothing to lose and everything to gain, and that brings its own pressures. But I just can't be complacent for a second, and I won't be. And I'm looking forward to putting on a good show.
How important is Saturday night for you? Because Frank spoke a little bit earlier about the world title fight, which seemed to be coming. It seemed to be that was going to be happening in Belfast this summer, but for numerous reasons and obvious reasons is not doing so. So how close do you think a world title fight still is for you now?
Well, I think we had it sort of for June 13th. It was pretty much done with Frank and Bob Arnhem as well. And yeah, obviously with what's going on globally, it couldn't happen. So hopefully it can happen. But again, that's not me being disrespectful to Darren or being complacent or taking my eye off the ball. Ideally, I would have liked to be fighting or have fought already for a world title, but because of what's going on, it wasn't possible. So I have to fight Darren. I need to win. If I lose the fight, my career's over. Where do I go from here at this stage? So I'm not prepared to do that.
33 now, yeah?
Yeah.
And a chance still looking to become Ireland's first ever three-weight world champion. I know you've always spoken, and we've done these sort of press conferences, goodness knows how many times over recent years, but you've always talked about legacy. Is that the biggest driving force that remains for you now?
Yeah, it is. I think my children as well are a huge inspiration to me and a driving force, but I think legacy and to become, I think there's a shout already to be go down, and people can maybe argue the point that I'm Ireland's greatest fighter right now, but I think if I win a third world title, that cements that place. And I go down as the greatest fighter that Ireland's ever produced, ahead of Steve Collins, ahead of Barry McGuigan, ahead of Katie Taylor and a few others. So yeah, that's what I want.
Having worked with Carl for how long is it now? A fair few years now.
About,
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. How much have you enjoyed actually putting shows on with Carl involved?
Well, it's been fantastic when we've been in Belfast because the atmosphere has been great. Fans have come out in their droves to see him, quite rightly so. He's a hero over there, and you couldn't meet a nicer guy and a more consummate professional than Carl. That's what it's all about. You know, for any young fighter, talking about, talking to Dennis earlier and whatever, you want a role model. This is the guy. Look at him, how he looks after himself and the attitude. He's just been, I think, he's been brilliant for British boxing, Irish and British boxing. But the bottom line is, for me, I've enjoyed every moment of it. We said we were going to do things, and we did.
Yeah,
We said
we done the Windsor Park, which was.
So we get the world title fights. Everything we said we'd do, we did.
Yeah.
Darren, you want to ruin that legacy.
I will try. Yes, of course.
You've watched him obviously over the years, as we all have. You'll know all about his strengths. What sort of mindset have you got to have to get in the ring with him on Saturday night?
Just to be confident and believe that I can do it and beat him. That's it. So I can do it.
Well, that's going to be our top of the bill. We're hoping to have Michael Conlan here as well, talking about his fight with Sofian Takoucht, who unfortunately hasn't been able to make it in time, Michael. But that will be happening. And just a word about Michael as well, because he's sort of always been coming through, if you like, in your slipstream, and you know him about as well as you can. How good is he?
He's a class act. He's one of the most skilled fighters that I've ever seen, and you could, you know, what he done as an amateur, and how skillful he is, and his shot selection and his distance control, and he's got it all. And now they're talking about him going down to 122. I always thought he was a big featherweight, so to get down to super bantamweight, I don't think it's going to be easy for him. But if he can do it comfortably with his skill set and then just his pure size, he's going to be a nightmare for anyone at 122, and it gives him the chance then to become a multi-weight world champion. Like, Mick wouldn't look out of place as a lightweight. He's a big guy, so it gives him the chance to go up through the titles or up through the weight divisions and win more titles.
Do you still cherish the hope of having world title bills, maybe on the same, you know, fights on the same bill with world titles at stake? Would that be an ideal way to have things before you sail off into the sunset?
Potentially, it could be good, but it might be a bit of an issue in Belfast. But me and Mick are good mates, but if you know the political landscape of Belfast, it might be difficult. But
you can
why not?
You can promote it.
But just give us a word finally about Michael Conlan and what he could be moving towards in the next month.
He's got a tough fight, Sassy. The guy's very, very experienced, as I said. You know, 40 fights, won 35. He's got to be top of his game. There's, you know, if he can get down, and be strong at that weight, he'll be something else. But he's a man on a mission, and unfortunately he didn't get here. But he's a man on a mission, and I think we're going to see a good fight between him and Takoucht on Saturday.
Now, also on the bill, finally, Archie Sharp, who's been performing brilliantly, is undefeated in 18, is it now?
Yeah.
18 fights against Jeff Afuri, who's 10 wins, 2 defeats and 1 draw, but they know each other well. And again, it's in theory, Frank, this is a really attractive matchup. Jeff clearly fancies the task. Archie's been going from strength to strength.
Well, he has, and I mean, he's pulled some big punches out of the bag as well in these last few fights. And as you say, Jeff, I know Jeff is up for this and fancies it, but you know, I believe in Archie. He's 18-0, and this is for him. You know, he wins this fight, and maybe get one more before Christmas. He could be one up being probably the mandatory in his weight division, and that would be for fight the winner of Carl and Jamel Herring if they win their respective fights before they meet. So he's got everything to go for here. And what a great fight that would be. You know, if Carl comes through, which I do believe he's going to become the first Irishman to win titles at 3 different weights. I really do believe that. He comes through, him and Archie did a fantastic fight down the line.
Has he kind of vindicated, Archie, this is what you believed he was capable of producing, or has he exceeded what you thought he was going to do?
No, look, he's got a lot of self-belief, there's no doubt about that. You've only got to talk to him, and he's been a joy to work with, and I think between us we've all done what we said we'd do.
Yeah, for sure.
And now it's up to him now. He's now in a situation where, you know, this is a tough fight for him, but these are the fights he's got to win. He's got to win them in style. And I know Jeff's got other ideas, and we're going to hear from him in a moment. But these are the fights that can be upsets, and there's no doubt about that.
Archie, do you have to pinch yourself when you hear Frank say that, and when you see Carl here, to think, yeah, potentially in the next 2-3 fights, that could be me?
Well, this is what I've come to boxing to do. I want to be at the top alongside big names like Carl. Carl will know that there's no disrespect. He's just at the position where the target is on his back, he goes and beats Jamel, and that's a fight that obviously I want, because I'm in the game, like I say, to be the best, not second best.
So come Saturday against Jeff, you guys know each other pretty well. I was talking to Jeff earlier, and he tells me that you sparred together, that you know each other's styles. What are you anticipating?
Yeah, so Jeff was my sparring partner for the Woodstock fight 2 years ago. But a lot's gone on in 2 years. I've grown as a bigger fighter, and there's no disrespect to Jeff. In the 2 years, I've gone to pick titles up, and unfortunately he hasn't. So it's no disrespect there, but I know Jeff gets himself in the best shape as possible. He's going to be fit. He's going to be tough, but he's probably thinking, "Oh, we're going to get in there, give Archie a hard night's work." So but they've been doing that since I was 7 years old, so I started boxing. So it's nothing unusual to me. Like I say, no disrespect to him, fit and he'll be on his game, and no doubt he's in the best shape. But I'm in the best shape that I can ever be.
What do you remember of those sparring sessions from a couple of years ago, Jeff?
Yeah, definitely. Hello. Yeah, definitely. It was a good session for me. We both won for our first titles. I was going for the Southern area, he was going for the WBO. We both won, so them sessions definitely helped us to get our titles.
And from what you saw of him there, do you think you can get in there on Saturday and spring what I think a lot of people would say was an upset?
100%, because for me, this is like, after my last fight, this is another second chance. And not many fighters, especially coming from where I'm coming from, get this opportunity. So for me, I'm going to grab it with both hands.
Tell me about your background and about your preparations for this, how you've managed to keep fit, how you've managed to get ready for it.
Definitely, I'm a contractor for the underground, so during the whole COVID, I've still been working. So when it happened and they closed it down, I went to BoxFit and I bought a boxing bag, so I got a boxing bag at home, got a little speedball, so I've been training, so I'm ready and I'm ready to go.
So your flat was turned into a gym?
Basically, basically.
And do you think there's a chance he'd be underestimating you, or does he know everything there is to know?
I don't think anyone knows everything that there is to know. I think everybody's got their tools, but I don't think he'll underestimate, because I'm sure he wants to keep that tight because he's got other plans. So he's going to be hungry to do that. I'm hungry to stay in the game and be on big events like this and big shows. You know, I mean closer to the middle.
Jeff, if you could do Archie, if you could beat Archie,
yeah,
how much would that change your life?
It would definitely change my life. And like I said, it's another second chance. So you don't keep getting chances like this, and I know that.
It's like a third chance, another second chance.
Oh,
yeah,
second chance of
yeah. Well, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Well, it's a good one, Frank, and a lot at stake, and
Yeah.
the two guys clearly in shape and both fancying it.
They've all got a lot to lose. You know, that's one thing. Look at these guys on the card. Every one of them has got a lot to lose. They're in positions where, you know, they're on the cusp of big things, and they can't afford to slip up. And you guys fighting them, you're in a position where you can change your lives entirely, completely change your lives. So it's for you to do. That's where it's at. So watch on Saturday and we'll see what you guys bring to the table.
Correct. The crowds might not be there, but the action
Well, the crowd
can
will
still
be
be
watching.
absolutely vital, and there'll be thousands and
Look,
thousands watching.
there are no away fighters on these cards. There's no crowds there. Everybody's a home fighter. That's what it is. You're not going into anyone's backyard. You're going into an arena where, you know, the people will be cheering for you, will be your trainers. That's it. That's what it is.
We'll be there Saturday night, BT Sport. Be sure to join us then. The lads will be giving absolutely everything. You've heard from the people involved. They'll be prepared to do interviews with you if you've not already had that opportunity. And we look forward to entertaining with some more terrific boxing behind closed doors.
Well, there is, and remember, the main events will be coming on after the football. That great football match we're going to see. So it's going to be a great sporting night on BT Sports. Don't forget.
Join us then. Thank you very much indeed for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you.